When I was starting to learn about real estate and how to invest in real estate, I remember assuming that you needed this fancy software that would analyze a property to determine if it would be a good investment. I actually remember searching online for real estate investing analysis software, and the results that came up were programs that cost, I remember, hundreds, thousands of dollars. And there was obviously no way I was going to spend that kind of money on a program when most likely the results wouldn't really make sense to me anyways. I mean, all those fancy ratios everyone talks about, IRR, discounted cash flows, debt to equity, debt coverage ratio. Sure, I could figure out how to calculate them, but what did it all mean? Well, luckily I didn't spend thousands of dollars buying a fancy software program to help me analyze a real estate investment, but I did learn some basics, and that's all you need. However, if there's one advanced ratio I'd recommend to add to your arsenal and help you become a better real estate investor, it would be knowing how to calculate a real estate investment's net present value, or NPV. And in today's video, if you watch until the end, you're going to learn what it is and how it works. So stay tuned. It's Tyler, 2015 Crew Magazine Investor of the Year, and your real estate investing educator. I'm glad you landed on my channel where I'm constantly sharing tips, strategies, just tons of information on how to start investing in real estate and all the benefits from investing in real estate. So subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video, which I do each week. All right, net present value. Who cares, right? I know. I'm a huge proponent of using only a few financial calculations such as cash on cash return, return on investment, payback period, and a property's cap rate. However, knowing how to determine the net present value for a property you are going to purchase or a renovation project you are going to be doing at one of your properties will be very helpful in your analysis and help you determine if the return you are looking for based on the cost of the capital, the cost of money you will be using for that investment, is good enough. First though, what is net present value? Well, the boring term according to Investopedia it's the difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows over a period of time. NPV is used in capital budgeting and investment planning to analyze the profitability of a projected investment or project. In layman's terms, what NPV does is it looks at the return you will make from your investment over a certain time period by calculating that return in present day dollars, because money in the present is worth more than the same amount in the future due to inflation. In other words, a dollar earned in the future won't be worth as much as one earned in the present. That's why net present value is a good calculation to use. So for real estate, as I said, it's a great calculation to use because a lot of times, and this correlates to the other financial calculations I recommend, which if you want to learn more about them, watch this video right here. Oh, sorry, right here to my left, in this little top corner here. Because it helps you to compare to other investments you might be thinking of making with your money, with your capital, to confirm, if it is the better investment. So by analyzing a potential investment property's NPV, you're determining if the return you're going to make based on the investment you will be making in the property or in the project is better than investing your money, your capital, in something else. So the great thing about calculating the NPV is it takes into consideration the value of the debt and or equity or both that you are using, weighting those based on how much you're using of each. This is called weighting the cost of capital, because most of us, when investing in real estate, will use our own money, our equity, and also the bank's money, debt, such as a line of credit to buy the property or to do the renovation project. Quick little side note, calculating the NPV of an investment is used more for long-term analysis. It wouldn't make sense to use this calculation if you'll be buying a property to fix and flip, since those don't take that long, and the whole point of calculating the NPV is to determine the future cash flow you'll be making from the investment, discounting those future cash flows as a result of inflation and the opportunity cost of tying up your capital versus investing in something else. All right, so to confirm, NPV, net present value, is a great calculation to use when buying real estate to hold long term, as well as for a project such as a renovation project, to say to update a property. In fact, I had to analyze an upcoming project at one of my commercial properties recently to figure out if it was worth spending $50,000 to renovate a unit based on the inflows and outflows from the tenant who wanted to lease the unit over the next 10 years. So that was the time period they were looking to lease the property at. So I know firsthand that knowing the project's net present value can and was very helpful in determining if I should do the renovation, spend $50,000, and if I did, at what inflows, that is the rental income, would I need to get so that the net present value of the discounted cash flows, the income I'd get over those 10 years, minus the investment I'm making, the 50 grand, was greater than zero, based on the return that I wanted on the capital that I would be investing into this project. All right, is using this calculation easy to understand? Well, put a comment below telling me yes or no if I did help shed some light on net present value. Because, yeah, it really isn't that easy to understand, but, it is with practice. The keys, to find out the net present value are obtaining and figure out all the necessary information you need, such as, you need to calculate the project's WACC, the weighted average cost of capital, and the project's beta, which is the risk involved in the project, along with knowing the cost of the debt, the interest, if you will be borrowing, and your discount rate, which is the return you want on your money, on your equity that you'd be putting into the project or into the investment. And then obviously, how to bring it all together to determine if the project's rate of return from the discounted future cash flows meets the return you're looking to get from your money, from your capital. It is a lot, and I get it. There are some advanced calculations that need to be done so that you can calculate an investment's net present value. In saying that, if you want to learn more in depth about how to determine investment's net present value, click below to join my Facebook group, as I've uploaded an entire training where I walk you through how I calculated the net present value on my most recent commercial project to determine if it was worth investing $50,000 to update the unit or not, based on the return I was looking for on my money, my equity, which was 10%, and the debt I had to borrow to finance the project, which cost me 4%. And that way, tell me the return if I should, based on the incomes that the property was going to get over the next 10 years, based on what they wanted to lease it for. Also, if you like this video, click the thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can continue your real estate investment education. Lastly, be sure to check out some of my most recent videos right here. There's one on my left and one on my right. To learn more about how to invest in real estate. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next one.